Okay, gap ahead is 1.9 seconds. Okay, so the gap to the car behind is 1.7 seconds. Great manoeuvre, you made it look so easy.
Here comes Callie Mayer, closing in on her teammates.
She's practically on top of me. Aiden, calm down. You're on different strategies. Just let Callie pass. Okay, Callie. Aiden's going to let you pass at the next corner. Let's go. Copy.
Will Mayer get past her teammate now? Here she comes. But there's contact. Contact between the two Connor Sport drivers. Jackson's out. He gets the worst of it. Mayer's clear.
Oh, Jackson's damage looks bad. I think you're right, Crofty. His race is over.
Mayer seemed to catch Jackson unawares, though. I'm not sure why.
What was that? Why didn't she wait for me to move over on the exit? Okay, Aiden, are you all right? It's just another butler.
I thought he was letting me through.
Yeah, I know, Callie. I'm sorry about that, but it's happened now. It's over. Let's get your head down and focus. Come on, we'll talk about it later.
Copy.
Okay, push, push. Gap to the car behind. 5.0 seconds. Okay, Callie, really good start. Keep it up.
I'm not finished yet.
Okay, mate, that was an illegal manoeuvre. You've got to cede that position or we'll receive a penalty. Okay, Callie, really good start. Keep it up.
I'm not finished yet.
Okay, car behind trailing us, 4.0 seconds. Nice move, good job. Okay, mate, race control. Green flag. Okay, Callie, really good start. Keep it up.
I'm not finished yet.
Okay, good work. Great pass.
Here comes Callie Mayer. Teammate.
I thought he was letting me through.
Yeah, I know, Callie. I'm sorry about that, but it's happened now. It's over. Let's get your head down and focus. Come on, we'll talk about it later.
Coffee.
Okay, gap to the car ahead is 2.9 seconds. You're in the top 10 now. Keep it up. Okay, here's the gap that we're trailing the car ahead by, 2.7 seconds. Nice work, mate. That brings you up a place. That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done. Okay, that's us with 5 laps of fuel remaining, 5 laps of fuel left. Car ahead's losing 2 seconds a lap to you. Good job. Okay, you're creating some breathing space between you and the car behind by a few seconds a lap. Really good stuff. Okay, we've got 4 laps of fuel remaining. Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 10.7 seconds. Right, we've got enough fuel for 3 more laps. Right, we've got enough fuel for 3 more laps. Okay, final lap. Let's go. Final lap. Okay, just 2 laps of fuel remaining now. Okay, gap to the car behind. 10.2 seconds. All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Well, in spite of the drama amongst those at the top of the standings, so much of the discussion today has centred around Connor Sport.
Absolutely, a bittersweet race for them today. One historic debut, one DNF. I mean, you couldn't write it.
And talking of that debut, what did you make of Callie Mayer's first ever start? Ferrari are at it again.
And do you feel extra pressure at Connor Sport? It must be difficult with your dad looking over your shoulder.
Look, it's F1. It's not possible for me to feel any more pressure than I already do. So no, it's not an issue.
Callie, have you felt any pushback from anyone in the F1 world, just with you being the first female driver in the sport?
No, everyone's been amazing. And I'm not the first, I'm just the latest.
How's your brother? Are you really just keeping his seat warm?
You'd have to ask him that. But he is getting the help that he needs. And no, I have no intention of giving up this seat.
What happened out there between you and Aiden today?
It's just a mix-up. I thought he was letting me through on the entry, but he clearly had other ideas.
We spoke to him earlier, and he said it was deliberate on your part. Any comment on that?
It was just a misunderstanding.
You've always gone by Mayer, and now you're in a team financed by your father, driving in your brother's seat. Would you go back to the Butler name?
Should have expected it, right?
I thought you did.
It's not what I mean. I mean, I'm a woman, I get it. I'm happy to talk about it.
And what is it?
Well, it's always the same, isn't it? So you're a woman, and then every question about Dad, about Devon, about the Butler name.
Just forget about it.
Oh, I can never get away from it, can I? The only question about the race was about Aiden.
Well, you know, maybe if we'd let it run a little longer, there would have been...
Casper? Don't defend them.
Sorry, you're right. Sorry.
Look, it's fine. I'll be faster next time.
The incident at Baku, do you think she did it on purpose?
She did do it on purpose. Yeah. Check the footage.
So you didn't warm to her?
We weren't the best of friends, no.
Hey, Mum.
Callie, I couldn't be prouder, darling. Well done.
Oh, thanks, Mum. It was a good race. Felt great out there.
Oh, it was a good race.
Oh, no, what is it?
What do you mean, what is it? What's what?
I can hear it in your voice, Mum. It was a good race.
No, it's nothing.
Go on.
No, it's just that... You didn't do it on purpose, did you? When you clipped poor Aiden.
I can't believe you're even asking me. Did you really raise your daughter to behave like that?
Well, I'm really not sure.
It was an accident, Mum. I'm hanging up.
Oh, of course it was. Bye, darling. Lots of love.
Hey, boss. Got another one for you.
Andrew?
You seen this latest article doing the rounds today? 3 weeks later and the press are still going with narrative of the rivalry at Connorsport. Still!
They just need an angle for Silverstone. Paid no attention.
But they're right, aren't they? It's not like Callie and Aiden are suddenly treating each other like teammates.
They just need time. It took me a while to warm to Aiden back in the day.
Well, that's because you were a grumpy old man.
Yeah. Well, some things never change, I guess.
Ha! Now you're just grumpier and older. I'll leave you to it. Ciao.
Bye.
Okay, we'll have a word.
He's been so late into these corners. I have no space out here.
Yeah, we'll talk to him, Kelly.
This is still about Baku, isn't it?
job. Great work, that's a new fastest lap of the race. Okay, so the gap to the car ahead, 2.5 seconds. Okay, clear. And that's just 5 laps of fuel remaining. Okay, you're in the top 10. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 4.5 seconds. Gap to the car in front is 3.0 seconds. Leading the car behind by 2.6 seconds. In one go, great job, really impressive. Okay, gap ahead is 2.9 seconds. Final lap, push, push. We've only got 2 laps of fuel left. If you continue to cut corners, the stewards are going to give you a penalty. Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
You see, this is just another example of the Connor Sport drivers so after a magnificent...
Callie, this is your first ever F1 race at Silverstone in front of the home fans. So just try to...
Oh, I mean, I love it. The fans always remind me that motorsport is bigger than the drivers, it's bigger than the teams. It's this whole community of people who come together just to enjoy the sport. And yeah, the home fans are always going to feel special.
Well, I have to say, it was tight out there once again between you and Aiden. You're not giving each other much space, are you?
Yeah, I've decided I'm not going to focus any more energy on Aiden. If he wants to start working more closely with me, then he can come and talk. But I think all I can do right now is just focus on my own driving.
Now, naturally, there has been a lot of speculation about the role of your father, Davidoff Butler, in
Okay, well, look at Gasly, Leclerc, Russell, and now everyone's suddenly surprised that an F1 team signed an F2 champion. I'm here because I can drive. People need to get a grip.
That's great, thank you.
Hey, Mum.
Callie.
You saw the interview?
Would you like some loving parental advice?
Not really.
Yeah. All this stuff about your father, I mean, you do know there's an element of truth to what they're saying. Like it or not, you've got to acknowledge it.
I don't have to acknowledge anything.
You can't make it go away by ignoring it, Cal. People will say all manner of nonsense if you don't accept it. She's privileged, they'll say. She's out of touch.
I don't care what they say about me.
Of course you do. You're only human.
I'm just here to drive.
If only it were that simple, darling.
Yeah. Look, I've got stuff to do, okay?
Think about it anyway. Lots of love.